Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another webinar by Data Platform Geeks. My name is Rohit, and I will be your host for today. And I have Satya with me, who will help us with the moderation and the Q&A. And today's speaker is Jody Roberts from South Africa, who is also an MVP, and he will be taking a session on Azure SQL Managed Instance. eDomni Systems, Data Platform Geeks is a community initiative by eDomni Systems, which you all are a part of now. And we also have the Data Platform Summit, which we organize every year in the month of August. We recently concluded Data Platform Summit 2018. And under SQLMaestros, we have masterclasses and hands-on labs. Hands-on labs are self-paced trainings. And we have Peopleware India, where we do a lot of training on various technologies. Like I said earlier, we recently concluded Data Platform Summit 2018, where we had 2 days of pre-con, which are 12 classes, and then the 3 days of conference where more than 100 sessions were delivered by more than 50 speakers. As you all can see here, thanks to the community, the summit was a huge success. We had participation of more than 900 people from 15 countries. We have already started working towards Data Platform Summit 2019. Again, it will be a 3-day conference with 3 days of pre-cons this time, 7 tracks, 100+ sessions, and 50+ speakers. This is the DPG core team, founder and president Amit Bansal and the vice president Manohar Punna. These are the eDomni teams from Bangalore and Kolkata. This is at the summit this year. We have the eDomni teams and the DPG core team at the stage. Special thanks to Microsoft for constantly supporting us in our community initiatives. You all are already part of Data Platform Geeks community, so go ahead and access all our free videos, labs, magazines, and all our learning resources. If you have any questions, you can always join the Facebook and the LinkedIn groups. Satya will shortly give you all the links. And the YouTube and mobile, we have the recorded webinars on YouTube now, and you can always join us on the mobile also. So without any further delay, let's get started with the webinar. Over to you, Jody. And also, please use the Q&A panel to ask your questions.
Thanks, Rod, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Jody Roberts. I'm a data platform MVP based in Cape Town, South Africa. My specialty is around data architecture.
Sorry, Jody. We just please share your screen once, so we are not able to see your screen.
Can you see the screen now?
Oh, not yet.
Sorry for that. Can you see the screen now?
No, Jody, we cannot. We are seeing our screen actually.
Okay, let me just zoom it.
No, please click on share screen once, and then share screen and share your desktop. Yes, Jody. Now we can see your screen. Yes.
Cool.
Please go ahead. Please.
Cool, guys. My name is Jody Roberts. I'm a data platform MVP from Cape Town, South Africa. Day job, managing partner at Northern Data, where I design customer solutions, data solutions for customers. I'm also a regional mentor for PAS for the MEA region, so Middle Eastern Africa, and then UG lead for the local SQL Cape user group, and also the co-lead for the PAS Cloud VC. Yeah, so today what we're going to do is have a look at SQL Server Managed Instance. Has anyone of you had a look at it as part of the preview? If you have, please put it in the comment section or in the chat section. So to start with, look, we're going to have a look at what is AMI, how does it compare to SQL on-prem, what's the current preview features, and how do we migrate to AMI. And feel free to ask questions during the session, because I know this is a kind of new technology that's coming out soon. So getting started, what is SQL Managed Database Managed Instance? So it's a new deployment option from Microsoft. It's, in essence, or in a nutshell, it's SQL Server on-prem in the cloud, where you can run your full-on SQL Server with no as the same, there is no boundaries. You won't have the same limitations as you have in on-prem, where you have compute limitations or you have storage limitations. It's easier for you to lift and shift, as it's a fully fledged SQL instance with nearly 100% compatibility with on-prem. It's a complete platform as a service instance. So you don't have to worry about the infrastructure, the patching, or any of those type of things. And it's in its own, from a security perspective, it's completely isolated. So you won't be able to access it via the internet. You will eventually have to go via a jump box, which I will show you in the demo. It's also very easy to set up. While the first instance will take you quite a while to set up, which is about anything from 2 hours to 6 hours. And once you're done with that, every instance you create after that takes about an hour or less. The reason for this is because in the back end, Microsoft it's basically creating your own cluster service just for you. So it spins up a couple of SQL clusters, and your compute and your storage nodes are completely different. Or not completely different, but they're completely separate. Which means Microsoft has an easier way of managing how to do patching. And as soon as they do patching or one of your nodes goes down, they can actually swap it out very easily. Or it gets swapped out automatically without you feeling any of that pain. So looking at some of the key differences is that HA is built in and pre-configured. So when I say HA is built in and pre-configured, I'm referring to availability groups. That's in SQL Server from 2012 onwards. That is pre-configured and you get that free. The difference comes in when you get it free, there are 2 tiers that you get to choose from. One is the general purpose tier, and the other one is the business critical tier. So if you take the business critical tier and select if you select the business critical tier, you will not be charged for the HA portion, the other node, which is the high availability node. You will not get charged for that. That is completely free. And you will, like in the on-prem version of SQL Server, you will be able to redirect all your read-only queries to the secondary node. However, to expose this, there's about 3 PowerShell commands that you have to run in order to expose HA and see it in Management Studio. This will come in handy. We're currently busy with customers where we are migrating them from on-prem into Azure Managed Instance, and I will show that off in the demo. Automated backups. So for those of you that, like me, having to spend a couple of million rand in our case on storage just for backups, what we realized is that if we actually move to Managed Instance, we're actually saving that. I think that's 7 million that we wanted to spend, but with Managed Instance, we now have automated backups and it's free, meaning that Microsoft backs up your data for you. However, the caveat with the automated backups in its present state is that it will only allow you to back up, it will only keep data for 7 days. However, if you want to keep data for longer, 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, whatever your compliance needs are, you can then go and create a backup vault in Azure and integrate that with your Managed Instance, meaning you can keep your backups for however long you wish to. Currently, there is no support yet for Windows authentication. However, the alternative for that is Azure Active Directory. I'm not sure how many of you guys actually have worked with Azure Active Directory. Anyone? Okay. And then also supports SSIS and stores SSIS packages using the SSIS runtime framework in ADF, which is Azure Data Factory. So if you're going to use Azure Data Factory, use version 2 that's currently out. It has a lot less of the nuances. Yeah, we've implemented with a couple of customers and it works brilliantly. So current preview features, most of them are there. That's in SQL Server on-prem. So from a migration point of view, you got native backup and restore, configurable DB file layout. However, with the file layout, you will not be able to see where your what your disk structure looks like. So the nice benefit of each of these servers or instances are that you can put up about 300 databases or GA, which will be very soon. General availability will be on the 1st of October. You will be allowed to do migrate 300 databases, have 300 databases per instance, with a max size of 8 terabytes per database. So, I mean, if that's not enough for you to start off with, then yeah, not sure what's going to be. And you can also use DMS, which is Azure Data Migration Services, to migrate multiple databases at the same time. However, there will be a new version of the Data Migration Assistant, which will be coming out in the coming weeks, which will also support on-prem migrations. DMS already does it, but the Data Migration Assistant will also allow you to migrate from on-prem to Managed Instance. And in the process, also do an assessment for you on what you need to get done, what you need to do and able to be compatible. Talking about compatibility, it's compatible as far back as SQL 2005. So yes, if you want to lift and shift your SQL 2005 databases, you can do that. Alternatively, you can take your SQL 2008 R2s, sorry, your SQL 2008 R2 machines and just put them in Azure as VMs and then migrate them to Managed Instance. From a security point of view, so as I said, integrated security is done through Azure AD. You've got TDE, which is total database encryption, and you've got AE, which is always encrypted. So for those of you that don't know what TDE is, TDE allows you to encrypt your entire database while still being transparent to the application without any code changes. Always encrypted, encrypts the driver between the database and the application, and then also allows you to encrypt certain rows that you need to specify, or columns that you need to specify in order to encrypt. With always encrypted, you will not, you as the DBA or backend developer will not see that encrypted data. Only the front-end application user will see it. I do apologize for the dog barking at the background. SQL audit is there, there's row-level security, and there's dynamic data masking. So from a programmability point of view, everything else is there, global temp tables, cross-database queries, and transactions, link servers, your CLR modules. Your DMVs are there, your query store is there, the agent is there, which was a biggie for most people, and that was a major stopper for one of my clients for not upgrading. You've also got database mail. So if you've got Office 365, something that's easy to migrate. And you've also got service broker, transactional replication, and change data capture. So let me just answer this question. So the question I've got is, how about migrating from other database technologies like Oracle or DB2? Yes, you can. You can use DMS for that, or you can use this SQL Server Migration Assistant, which is called SSMA, for that particular version, for that particular database type. So you'll get, there is a few versions that there's a version for every database platform out there. So there's one for Oracle, Postgres, MySQL, and DB2, which you can then use to migrate to SQL Server. Using either. Cool. So how do we migrate to Azure SQL Managed Instance? Sorry. As of today, or earlier this week, you can now also, you've got two types for Azure Data Migration Services. One is the general purpose one, which allows you to only migrate databases offline. And then you've got the business tier that allows you to migrate databases online. That meaning that you can keep your source database online while migrating, making your cutover and downtime very simple or minimal. So the question is the Linux option for SQL Server to be available on Azure? The answer to that, yes, it is. You can get it on a VM in Azure. So I don't know if that was the answer you were looking for in terms of VMs, but yes, it's there. You can run it on there. I don't think there's an option to run manage instance on a VM now. And then there's also a method of backup and restore. So we all know how that works. We can then say, oh, cool, we can take our backup, put it in a blob storage container using, in a blob storage container, and then restoring it from there. And then the third option is if you have multi-terabytes, petabytes of data, and you don't have the bandwidth to do it over the internet, you can then simply request in Azure, there's something called Azure Data Box, where you select the size of your data, Microsoft will then send a box to you, a box of hard drives to you, where you copy the data. You have a specific time frame in which to do it. You copy your data onto there. Microsoft picks it up, takes it to their data center, and they restore your data for you. Once the data is in the data center in blob storage or whichever form, you will then be allowed to restore your databases from there. You will then obviously need to replicate the data from there into the deltas into your managed instance, which you could use transactional replication for to get it up to date. Or you could do hybrid and do high availability. Okay, cool. Where is my demos? Cool. So let me just open up the portal. So I've already created a demo, and I actually had to do this morning because everything crashed on me. So I can show you exactly how long it took to do manage instance. Manage instance took about 2 hours and 40 minutes to create. So the other question that we have, is there a tool which helps us to migrate on-prem to MI without any downtime? Yes, there is. It's called DMS, Azure Data Migration Services, which I will demo to you. I know last time I used DMS, it did not support it, but I've been assured that that was 3 weeks ago that it will. But that's only on the business critical tier. Okay, so getting started with managed instance. Because it's currently in preview, I'll take you through the motion of what needs to be done in order to create one. So you'll go and you'll select Azure Managed Instance on the databases. You'll say create. You select your subscription, you type in your instance name. Sorry for that, guys. Password. So, apologies. Here you'll see a resource group. So here you will go select the option of creating a new resource group. This is simply because managed instance can't be in a shared resource group at this moment. And then you select, okay, you've done your new resource group, your location, and then your VNet where you want to be. So I'm not too sure as to why they put in the other VNets in here, because you can't run it on another VNet. So you'll go and you'll say select new VNet, and then you will select which option do you want. So for most production workloads, it's general purpose, so you can choose the business critical. So if I choose business critical and I know that I will get my HA, my high availability groups for free, I can then go and say, cool, which generation processes do I want? Do I want Gen 4 or Gen 5? So I like Gen 5. And because I'm going to run a massive load, I'll choose 32 vCores. And I'll probably need about terabyte of storage. So as you can see, my backup retention for the next, say, for 7 days, for a 7-day period is free. I can then also say, cool, we've got an EA with Microsoft and I've got licenses already for SQL Server. So I will be using that from my software assurance. And now I can see the discount down here. So I'm saving half the price, or a bit more than 50%. So as you can see, you can save up to 55%, and I will go click apply. And now it's going to ask me if I need, now it will go and create it. Cool. So for the next 3 hours, that is going to go run in the background and go and create a managed instance. Then before you get there, you'll need to create a jump box, which is just a VM with SQL Management Studio installed in order to get your, in order to be able to access your VNet. Oh, sorry, your Azure Managed Instance. What you then also need to do is create a storage account, which will be a normal blob storage account in Azure, simply because when we want to migrate from on-prem SQL Server, this will just make it a lot easier for us. Also, the big takeaway here, so one of the things you need to get right before you do anything is your networking. So especially around your on-prem stuff, seeing your cloud net, your on-prem network, seeing your cloud network. Yeah, so your on-prem network and your cloud network will have to see each other. So in our case, with the jump box, we actually peered the network where the managed instance is on with a jump box, but you have to do it on both VNets on each side. So let me just show you. So here I've got my jump box VNet. Okay, system not opening. Cool. So you will see it says peerings. So in there, I already entered my DPG demo VNet, which is for accessing my, which is the VNet where my managed instance is on, resides on. That means I'm able to do it there. But because I don't have a on-prem network linked to my Azure networks, I won't be able to just migrate from on-prem. I don't have that portioning. And that's not a train smash. If you don't have that, you can always use the other method that I'm going to show you, which is around blob storage for backups. So, okay, I've done my VNet, I've got my storage, and that means I need to create my container in my storage. So, for me, it's easier just to use Storage Explorer, and I can just go and refresh. So it'll pick up all my data stuff. So there you'll see DPS storage and my jump box. So I can go and say, okay, cool. I want a container. I don't have anything there, so I'll create a new blob container. Apparently you can't do low uppercase letters. Awesome. So now I've got my container there. And now I can go and say, cool, I want to upload a file, multiple files, or even folders. But we will do our part through the SQL Server. So as soon as I'm done with this part of migrating the demo over to our newer to managed instance from on-prem, we will have a look at the Azure data migration service. Any questions so far? Anyone? So for me, I'm now going to take my favorite database, everyone's favorite database, and I'm going to say backup. I'm going to say full backup, and I'm going to say backup to URL. So that's from previous demos, and I'm going to say new container. Where is my sign-in options? Okay. So just got another question here. Do we have to do VNet peering between the app server and MI? Yes, you will do. Yeah. So if your app server is running on your on-prem network, you can just peer the two, and you should be able, and then your app will be able to connect to your MI instance. Just wait till where's my pop-up window? Oh. So you'll get the pop-up window over here, which doesn't want to stay. You guys, let me just sort this out. So we've got two questions here. Will Microsoft also maintain backups for MI, or will we only need to maintain? So you will need to maintain your backups. Microsoft will only back it up. They will not touch your data. So you're still responsible for your backups and how long you want to keep your backups for. By default, they will give you 7 days on the house. You will have to sort out the other archiving methods of how long you want to keep your data. but that also depends on what your compliance needs are. The other question that we have is, what if my VM is in Azure? You will still need to connect the two VNets with each other to peer them together so that your VM can see your managed instance. That's why when you create a jump box to connect to it, you then go in here. Let me just show you. So I've got my VNet over here for my jump box, and then I've got my peerings over here. So you'll see that I've already added my VNet for my managed instance. And then if I look at my demo or my managed instance, and I go to peerings, there's my other VNet I connected to from the jump box. So now because you've peered the two, you're able to see each other. And you'll be able to connect. Okay, let's get back to this demo. If we can get in and sign into this Azure account. Yay! Cool. So everybody's seen the screen before. So I'm going and I'm saying, cool. I'm going to sign in with my Azure subscription account, type in the password, sign in. And now while that's signing in, it's going to bring up a list of storage accounts over here. Cool. So there it has my subscription, which I then select. Now it's going to go and select my, it gives you my options of all the storage accounts I have. So I select the jump box one, and now it's going to give me a list of my container. Oh, I don't want that one. Like that. See where we created it. Yep. Awesome. And now it's going to pick up that's a backup container that I created earlier. And now I'd say, cool, create credential, go, and there it's now populated. And I select that, and I go, awesome. So now, apologies for while that's running. So MI will take, I don't think, no, so there's a couple of things that happen in the background. So the question is, why will manage instance, normal managed instance take up to 6 IPs by default? Is that part of the security policy? So managed instance spins up a virtual cluster in the backend for you, and that requires IPs. Everything requires IPs that's on the network in order for you to see it. You must also remember that your computer and storage is different. It's separated and it's not like a VM. So cool, so our backup is done. So we can now see in Azure Storage, just refresh that. Let's just go to manage. So that's been backed up to our. So this is my jump box. This is the managed instance name that I'm connected to. Here is my managed instance. And I can go restore database. And device, the URL, and I'll go add. So now it's going to ask me here to sign in again. Apologies, I didn't pre-configure this spot. Wait, is that little Java one? Let's try this again. Apologies. Cool. So now we'll go through that same process as when we did the backup. Just now we're doing the restore. So waiting on it to validate my subscription and all the other good stuff. Cool. So then it picks up my subscription and I go select MVP, my storage account, my blob container, and I say create credential. Look, you can also script this out using PowerShell. So I've got containers, and in there, there's our backup, and I say select, and I say restore. So just before I click restore, so you'll see here's a timeline. So if you click on that, you can also do a point in time restore. Cool. So we're just waiting on that to restore. Let's just look at the database migration service. So just before we go there, this is the virtual cluster that it creates that your managed instance will actually run off. So there I've got one, and it will add more and more the more you create. So let's just do migration service. So now I'll create a new migration project. So you'll see you'll select your server. So for MySQL, you can choose MySQL, you can choose SQL Server. Then you can say your target type is managed instance or Azure DB, and then choose your type of activity. So do I want offline or online? I'll go online. Cool. And then you'll create your project. And once your project is created, you now select your source. So in our case, we're lucky. So our database is finally restored. And if we look, that's our managed instance, and that's the database that we have there. So this is our jump box. Let's just see if we can do it from here. So what that is actually doing now in the background, it's actually trying to connect to that server. It's now saying that my login failed. Let me just do this. Cool. So we've had issues before when we try and migrate or log on, because we can't see the network or the server name, we will get errors where it will just give you a default error saying you can't log in or login denied, and you'd think that no, that's just a generic SQL login. Let me go and create the login. In our case, the username and password are the exact same for both instances. So, any more questions? Okay. Too much for that. The reason I am getting this error though is because when I set up the jump box, I said do not allow connections from outside of my virtual network. So only if I am on here can I connect to this box and not over the internet. So I will need to go and change that setting, and then we will be able to migrate from there. So yeah, I don't know how we for time. Satya? So yeah, so the purpose of this was to show you how easy it is to actually migrate a database. It took less than 10 minutes. So that was just using backup and restore. In the DMS, using the DMS service, you will be able to select multiple databases and migrate them all at once. However, they will take time. So, any more questions before we wrap up this webinar?
Thank you, Jody. Thank you for your webinar. So, audience, you have any questions, please put up your questions in Q&A panel. Meanwhile, Rohit have few slides to show you. So while he's showing up his slides, please put up your questions using Q&A panel. Jody is available for 5 more minutes, so he'll answer if you have any questions.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go see if I can change that VMware setting as well.
Thanks a lot, Jody, for the wonderful session. If you have any questions, please feel free to use these links and post it on them. And a word from our sponsors, SQLMaestros. Like I had said earlier, we have advanced trainings on SQL Server and Microsoft Data Platform. You can check out all of that on www.sqlmaestros.com. We have hands-on labs, on-site training as well. We are coming up with master classes, which will be of 8-hour durations, and it will be 4 hours each day. And we have teamed up with some of the world's best trainers, as you can see. And the topics that will be covered will be on Microsoft Data Platform, AI, data science, SQL Server, Power BI, R, Python, among some of them. You can use the contacts if you have any queries. These are the hands-on labs. As you're already members of Data Platform Geeks, you can access some of the demos. Once again, thanks a lot for your time, and please post your questions in the Q&A panel, and Jody will be answering them. Thanks a lot.
Yes, Jody, please share your screen, and you are doing something. So you can share your screen and you can show that to the people.
No, I can't actually change what I needed to show, so I need to go rebuild my stuff, my VM.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I showed the demo was around backup and restore and migrating that way through as one of the methods. But with the new DMS feature, you'll be able to migrate multiple databases online. But just from a takeaway perspective, make sure that your network infrastructure is proper setup, that you can connect from on-prem to your machines in Azure, or from on-prem to your managed instance in Azure. Once you have that in place, then you'll be able to migrate faster and without any hassles, because this is one of the biggest problems that delayed projects on our side, where we'd go to a customer and there is no network setup. And this has happened to us last 2 weeks ago, where we now have to go back in another 2 weeks to wait for when they're done with the networking change. So from our side, guys, if there's no other questions, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day. I hope that it was of value to you guys. And yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you for your time and presenting to our Indian data and analytics community. So our community definitely benefited from your session. Thank you, Jody.
Thanks, Zach.